Hello, I'm Multi-Prometheus1, and welcome to episode 3 of We Swear We're Not Disney, where I look at terrible movies that try to cash in on the success of popular Disney films. Now, the first thing you may notice is, this isn't where I normally film. There's a wall there, and there's a window there, and... Yeah, right now I'm actually in the process of moving. Things are kind of crazy there, so I'm temporarily here for my last few weeks before I leave. But I wanted to get one more video out before I left. And so, hopefully in the next video you'll actually see my new apartment. It's going to be pretty cool. But right now, I have to film in here. Sorry. But I still contain the great refreshing taste that is Multi-Prometheus1. This is Guyan's attempt at Beauty and the Beast. First of all, this has nothing to do with the fact that Disney just recently released a live-action remake of their original Beauty and the Beast film. This just happens to be the next film on my Disney ripoff lineup, and, unfortunately, it has all the same problems as the other ones. It tries really hard to be a serious representation of the original source material, but it just comes across as overly preachy and overly forced. Let's not waste any time. This is Beauty and the Beast. The film begins with Guyan Tradition, a terrible song. But what distinguishes this one is the fact that the songs in the films I've looked at already at least had some sort of melody. This song feels like the singer is just making everything up as she's going.
The flowers that he brings to me, the love songs that he sings to me, they help me see the beauty in the Beast.
We're introduced to our main drawing for the evening as she's insulted on the street by her two ugly sisters, who try to compensate for their ugliness by dressing in expensive clothing. Wrong Disney movie, idiots! We then go to the girl's father, who just discovered his hired clerks have stolen all of his money and run off. This is most distressing to him, the girl's brother, and the girl's other brother... Hi, Prince from The Little Mermaid! Oh my goodness, have they gotten so lazy they're ripping off themselves now? Speaking of laziness, they didn't even come up with a name for the main character. They just call her Beauty the entire movie.
Beauty.
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 You guys do realize that her name's not actually supposed to be Beauty, right? The title just refers to her as Beauty for purposes of the message the story is trying to send. Her name's not actually supposed to be Beauty. No one names their kid Beauty. We then cut to some time later as the family has become poor peasants after losing all their money. But it turns out one of their cargo ships they thought was lost just showed up and might have some valuable stuff on it. This means the father has to go away to check up on things, and the ugly sisters have to continue to be as annoying as a 5th grade me.
I'll only marry a count or a duke. Just picture it. Duchess Alicia, I love it.
The father sets off on his journey.
I'll be back in a few days. Whoa, horsey!
Yeah, that was a pretty wild start there.
Whoa, horsey!
I mean, what other extremely wild rides are you gonna almost fall off of? Wee! Toilet! But it turns out all of the cargo was ruined by flooding, so he begins the long trip home and is caught in a thunderstorm on the way.
Ooh, this reminds me of the enchanted forest my mother told me about when I was a boy. Now, that was a long time ago. Ooh,
See? My audio matches my lip movements perfectly too. He comes across a huge castle and decides to see if he can maybe stay there for the night, when the castle itself seems to be inviting him in. The next morning, he picks a rose from one of the bushes, pissing off the Beast himself.
So this is how you repay all my kindnesses?
That's your design for the Beast? It looks like the weird love child of Pete the Dog and the Tasmanian Devil. Does the love child of Goofy and Bugs Bunny live next door? The Beast... I'm sorry. The Beast tells him that he will kill either him or Beauty, and if neither of them return, he will kill them both. So, he returns home telling his family of what he must do, but he accidentally lets slip that Beauty may die in his place. She becomes determined to sacrifice herself for her father, and the two travel back to the castle.
I am grateful you have allowed me to take my father's place so his life might be spared.
I see now why you named her Beauty. It was not for her face alone.
Hey, that's the message of the story! Do you get it, kids? That's the message of the story. Inner beauty versus outer beauty. Get it, kids? Inner beauty versus outer beauty? Because that's the message. The message is inner beauty versus outer beauty. Did we emphasize that enough? That's the message. Inner beauty versus outer beauty. Do you get it, kids? He begs for her life, but the beast refuses.
Beast, her heart is pure, and it is for that pure heart I now beg.
A bargain is a bargain. She will take your place.
What the? Nice begging there! This guy literally just told you he's going to kill your daughter, and your begging was, I don't want you to kill her. Oh, but I will. Okay. The best freaking father in all of fatherhood. One interesting thing about this film is that they actually don't do the whole talking candles in China thing from the Disney film. They don't replace it with anything particularly creative, but it's interesting that they chose not to rip off that part of the film. The Beast decides he can't bring himself to kill Beauty, and he will instead keep her at the castle, hoping she will marry him someday.
I understand. How could one such as yourself think of being the wife to a beast like me?
But she will, because the message is inner beauty versus outer beauty. Do you get it, kids? Did we emphasize it enough? The message is inner beauty versus outer beauty. She seems really happy with the accommodations the Beast has provided for her. Insert whatever Stockholm Syndrome joke you want here. When she's visited by a fairy who warns her that the Beast is cruel inside and will never give a single crap about her. I can't possibly imagine this being countered by the film's incredibly subtle message later. Can you? And, just as you'd expect, things start getting romantic. Insert whatever additional Stockholm Syndrome jokes you want here.
I would rather be in the arms of a beast whose heart is good than in those of a handsome man who is evil inside.
Get it? Because the message is... Ow! Ow! You're hitting me too hard with your message! Ow! She convinces the Beast to allow her to leave the castle and visit her family, but she's visited by the fairy again, who not only repeats her warning, but tells her that the Beast has held many young women before her and killed them once he got tired of them. She returns home to her family, who, understandably, is most pleased to have her back. Well, most of her family.
Oh, Father, just to be here is worth everything in the world.
Yuck, sickening, isn't it?
I just wanted you, the audience, to know how displeased I am at this recent turn of events.
The sisters are jealous that Beauty lives like a queen in the castle and hatch a plan to keep her at home longer than her allotted time, in hopes the Beast will die of loneliness. And what's their brilliant, diabolical plan? Just watch, and prepare to be astounded.
We can't stand seeing Beauty go. Please, Beauty, don't go. You can't do this to us.
My goodness. That's the most brilliant plan I've ever heard in my life. All this time I admired Iago's diabolical genius in bringing Othello to ruin. All this time I was amazed at how cleverly Adolf Hitler manipulated an entire nation into accepting his disgusting evil plans to annihilate an entire race of people. But this is the most indescribably inspired evil plan I've ever seen. It works on so many levels. I don't think I can ever look at an evil plan the same way again. This film has enlightened me. Thank you, Beauty and the Beast. Thank you, Guyon. But Beauty gives in to their pleas, and the Beast's housekeeper has to bring her back. She finds him unconscious on the floor, and... What the... Now he's a gorilla too? Please, Guyon, pick a darn design for this guy. But it seems she's too late, and he dies. But... could true love bring her back? It can and it will, as the Beast comes back to life and turns into another prince from Little Mermaid! Jeez, Gaiam, what is your fascination with this design? It turns out he was turned into a beast many years ago, and only a woman who agreed to marry him out of love would break the spell. And who turned him into a beast so many years ago? It was the fairy from earlier. She was evil the whole time. What a surprise. I haven't been so shocked since it was revealed Palpatine and the Emperor were the same person.
Beauty, to show my gratitude to you for breaking my sister's evil spell, you and your prince will rule this land forever.
Yeah, from a castle that no one from the outside world knows exists. A lot of authority you're gonna have. And that's where the film ends. My goodness, was that dumb. It's nowhere near as bad as The Little Mermaid or Alice in Wonderland, but it's still bad. The animation is first semester of art school, as always. The protagonist is a dud, the Beast is laughable, the villain is a joke, and the romance between Beauty and the Beast, and really the whole plot entirely, just feels really forced. I give it credit for at least trying to be different than the Disney film, but they forgot the second step, which was, actually making it good. As far as entertainment value, there's really nothing wrong with it per se. I mean, you're not making your kids dumber by showing it to them or anything, but it's just so much less than what it could have been. And that really, really, really hurts it. It makes it one of the best of the Gaiam films, but that's not saying a lot. I'm Multiprometheus1, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in my new apartment for the next episode of In Defense of Blink. See you then.